And for our third and final time of the evenings, greetings and salutations, Dota fans. We've got two series behind us, and now one of the front runners, one of the fan favorites to make a deep run here in our HyperX D2L Season 4 group stage. Team DK matches wits against Rising Stars. Now, Rising Stars was in action earlier tonight and unfortunately came up on the losing end of the stick. They remain winless throughout our early group stage play. They still have a lot of time to turn things around. They're only a few series deep into their entire schedule. DK still early on as well. DK actually suffering an early loss already. So that's something they're going to want to avenge. Only one team remains unbeaten. That's LGD, who got the win in the second series. So right now, DK chasing that front runner, really looking for a win against Rising Stars, and will be coming into play as the heavy favorites. Let's go ahead and take a look at how these teams match up. Team DK, of course, full of names you know and love and know very well, especially that guy right smack in the middle. Burning, of course, the captain, the leader, the captain of this ship known as Team DK. He plays on the carry position. Ice sets up shop in the off lane with Mushi, a guy who's kind of bounced around in what he's played. I mean, built his reputation to an extent as a mid, then he played carry, then he's playing mid again, and so far has had mixed results, but for the most part positive with DK. But you're beginning to see, especially here in the D2L, how comfortable he's becoming on those heroes and just how much of an impact player he can be, even when he's not at the top of the farm priority chain. Lanham, of course, support and jungle, with X holding down the off support. So that 2-1 record, 4 points for DK, has them currently sitting technically in fourth place, but again, still very early on for them, and a lot of teams ahead of them are roughly in that same zone. Only 3 of their 7 matches played, 4 of their 7 matches. Tongfu actually sits ahead of them right now based on points. However, Tongfu has played 5 matches and DK's 3. So this week, today and tomorrow, really setting the tone for how these teams are going to approach the final weeks of play and how realistic their run through the playoffs is going to be. Their opponents now, of course, Rising Stars, who we saw in action once again. A team with so much talent and such big names, it's really hard to ever count them out. But they have struggled so much in terms of finding consistency and, more than anything, finding the ability to transition after they have a good early game into a solid mid game and obviously towards a late game win. Rising Stars knows how to play the early game, and they do it very, very well under the stewardship of XDD, the hard supporting captain of the team. King J, of course, in the offlane with CTY in mid, QQQ as a support jungler, and Sylar, a phenomenal carry in his own right. Now, all of these names, if you keep up with Asian Dota, are all big in their own way. CTY, one of the more interesting stories. He's still a very young player, still establishing himself, but he actually came to notoriety in the Asian Dota scene after winning a 1-versus-1 tournament, besting Ferrari 430 to win that tournament. He played carry going back to last year, but of course has now transitioned into that mid position. So Rising Stars was 0-1 coming into play today. They actually lost their first series, so the wins and losses should read 0-2. That'll be updated, of course, for tomorrow. But again, they really need a win. You don't want to fall in that 0-3 hole. You can just ask LGD International. And speaking of that, why don't we take a look at our overall standings and see where these teams sit in relation to each other. LGD 4-0 again. Very and absolutely amazing shape as of right now. And with that 5th win that they picked up, they're actually 5-0, excuse me, not 4-0. With that 5th win they picked up in our last series, they guarantee themselves a playoff berth. No one's really going to have a chance to catch them and knock them down without at least a one-team playoff. But, with only 2 more matches left for LGD to play, they have a realistic shot of running the table and auto-qualifying to our grand finals in Las Vegas at Caesars Palace coming up in January. Tongfu again sitting in 2nd place, but they actually have a losing record. They're sitting in 2-3. They've just played more matches than anyone else in the field so far, so that gives them a bit of a leg up. They run a real risk if they don't finish strong of dropping into the bottom half as other teams catch up and play. Some of those teams include Invictus Gaming and DK, obviously, sitting at 3-4, 2-1 apiece, and Vici, a dark horse to an extent, sitting in the back, waiting in the wings and ready to pounce on any opportunity to get. The best of the rest, or should I say the seller, LGD International, Rattlesnake, and Rising Stars, all 3 teams sitting with 0s in the win column. So those teams need to get things turned around, but, DK's pretty good last I checked. We'll see if Rising Stars has the goods and if they have the ability to get things going here in this series. If not, they're going to be in that same hole LGD International happens to be. I'm your host, Aaron A.C. Chambers. I'll be joined live for commentary and analysis by Ben Merlini-Wu. We'll be bringing you straight into the draft in just a moment. Again, our third and final best of three of the day. We will have three more best of threes tomorrow, so make sure you tune in to the D2L tomorrow. You can follow it on Twitter and all that fun stuff. But for now, Team DK takes on Rising Stars in their bid to move up in the standings. We'll be right back. Stick with us. And moving right ahead to the draft, we can already see it well underway. Rising Stars and DK. DK snagging out that Naga Siren and Clockwork, two very stable picks that allow you to play a variety of styles. Rising Stars, though, I mean, this is what they do. They know how to run an early game. They know how to be aggressive, and to be honest, they have one of the best first 15 minutes or so of a game you're going to see from Dota anywhere in the world. It really doesn't matter. East, West, you name it. Rising Stars is terrifying in those first few moments. And with the lineup consisting of Crystal Maiden, Night Stalker, and Visage, that's a lot of damage output and a lot of roaming potential right out the gate. DK snags up that Lion in third position. And to break down how these lineups look and what we might see ahead for us in Game 1, once again, welcome in Ben Merlini-Wu. So, Ben, we've talked about it and kind of beaten it into the ground. And, I'm going to make the obligatory joke that is going to come up, I'm sure, if the Midas trends continue. It's no longer Defense of the Ancients. It's Defense of the Midas. That's what we play now. But
why do they need a ban Shen?
Exactly. There's going to be
defend with Midases.
There's going to be four Midas to begin with. It really doesn't matter. But
see the line picked up by DK again. I think this is Lion hero. We've seen DK probably have the most success out of any team using Lion, which is quite surprising. The hero was considered somewhat weak in 6.78. He got a slight buff, Hex lasting longer at levels 1 and 2 and 3, I believe. So yeah, he's not as level dependent as before. But surprisingly, I thought that supports were going to get less XP because of how things were going, but they're like more active around the map, so they're actually getting more XP and they're getting more gold, so they can do more things and they're dying less. So Lion is a pretty good pick. He's especially good versus Weaver. I don't actually think he's that great versus Night Stalker, Visage, and CM, but I can't doubt DK's draft. They're one of the more fantastic teams in the D2L Eastern Division. Looking at the odds, it's 82% in favor of DK, 18% in favor of Rising Stars. And judging by Rising Stars' earlier performance today, I'd say this is pretty close to what I'd expect.
Yeah, again, a very aggressive team. I'll tell you one thing, just coming back around to Lion, though. That's a hero that, after seeing the Nyx Assassin nerf, and not necessarily on paper, on paper, I think we all looked at that, the fact that Impale was no longer a tracking ability, and said, well, that'll have some effect, but not a big effect. But you and I have seen firsthand just how much that has changed the way Nyx Assassin plays and feels, and we are not seeing a lot of Nyx Assassin picked as a consequence. I immediately said that I felt like Lion was a hero who might be a winner in that situation, because basically what Nyx Assassin gives you is the escapability, of course, the single target DPS of Vendetta and Mana Burn, so on and so forth. But as you built him, most teams wanted to prioritize getting a mobility item, a Force Staff or a Blink Dagger. Lion fills that role now. Lion is just more efficient at that role after the nerf to Nyx Assassin, just because of how much more difficult it is to land Impale. And his Earth Spike is actually, if I'm not mistaken, actually moves out faster. It's a little bit easier to land. It's still the same skill shot as the Nyx Assassin has, but he also has that DPS. It's just magical instead of physical. He also has a secondary lockdown, which Nyx Assassin doesn't. Doesn't have quite as much free harass in lane, but he does have the ability to regen his own mana in lane, so he is a strong laner in his own right as well. So Lion is a hero, I think, as trends begin to settle eventually. Obviously, right now it's volatile as hell. But I think Lion's a support we're going to see picked more often by more teams who value the same thing that Nyx Assassin used to give you.
Yeah, Lion's better versus BKB heroes too, just because the Hex is just so good.
Yeah.
And if you can burst him down during that, then things are all good in the hood. And if you get a blink on him, it just makes initiation that much easier. By the flip side, Nyx Assassin, if he blinks on someone and they BKB, they're just screwed because Impale has a cast time. Hex is like near instantaneous.
Yeah.
And Lion's trade-off, he doesn't have any defensive ability, but he is range, which is actually a pretty big deal. Nyx Assassin is pretty much played like a range hero. Oftentimes you won't even see the pro players go for the Vendetta hit just because it's way too risky. Oftentimes they have sentries and you just really need the stun so your teammates can follow up. Shadow Fiend, a somewhat early pick by DK compared to other teams. I think some teams like to take him fifth, but Rising Stars, if they put CM Night Stalker mid, Shadow Fiend's going to have a really rough time. But I think that Mushi has a fantastic Shadow Fiend, and I can't really count it out even against the CM and Night Stalker dual lane.
Absolutely. And, waiting to see what they're going to show us. We saw some greed out of LGD earlier on, basically picking a very farm-dependent, much more laid-back kind of a lineup than just out-maneuvering past their opponents in our second series. And, waiting to see what DK is going to pick. It would seem that Burning is still lacking a hero. As you said, most likely going to be Mushi on that Shadow Fiend. Weaver banned out. This could potentially be an anti-mage game. Having that mobility to help deal with how aggressive Rising Stars is going to be. I mean, you want to talk about aggression, man. Just look at how unbelievably potent that front five is going to be. Even the Prophet, who for the most part takes some time to farm himself an item or two that makes him feel as useful and do the damage he wants to do, just being able to TP him in to any fight with these other four is just going to be absolutely difficult to deal with, especially for squishies like Shadow Fiend, like Lion, Naga Siren, of course. Clockwork a little bit more survivable because of his innate skill set. But it wouldn't surprise me to see DK select a carry now that has a little bit more survivability and utility. And again, nope, it is going to be Mirana, but same concept, looking for that utility, but not the anti-mage.
I think that Viper's a pretty good pickup by Rising Stars here. I think they know that they're underdogs too, and they have to go for like something a little bit different. They're going fairly all out in the early game. Rising Stars forte, I must say, and Viper actually has really good lane control over Shadow Fiend too. So I think that they may want to dodge middle, maybe just put like a Clockwork there or something, and just let him somewhat get destroyed by CTY at the expense of, or at the trade-off of letting Mushi get some farm. Shadow Fiend versus Viper is not a good matchup. CTY is absolutely fantastic at last hitting too, and when you have Nether Toxin and Shadow Fiend doesn't have any souls, it's just really a no contest in their early game. So if CTY versus Mushi middle, I think if like Mushi gets like half to 2/3 of the CS of CTY, that's a win for him.
And I'm kind of running the lanes through my head as well. The problem is, where do you put Mushi? I mean, Rising Stars is going to have the ability to rotate their lanes however they really choose to. And I think this might be a game where they just track Mushi, kind of, like you said.
Yeah, they should.
So, I mean, wherever he winds up, I don't know that he's going to get a better situation. And as bad a matchup as Viper is against him, it still might even be better than allowing them to just stack 3 heroes into a lane where he is and force him off a farm that way. We'll have to see. I mean, very cerebral.
They can't really stack 3 heroes. Like, Night Stalker's just garbage in the off lane. He really needs levels. He's kind of like Shadow Fiend, I guess. He just really needs levels in the safe lane. Looks like they are going to aggressive try, though, and they are going to shut down Mushi. Mushi is going. I think it's a smart decision, though. They definitely should not put Mushi in the middle. He's just going to get absolutely massacred, especially with the dual roam with CM and or Visit early. Like, plus, Viper already owns Shadow Fiend. Plus 1, he's just going to die over and over. So they have to secure Mushi's farm early game at whatever cost may come. And we actually see an aggressive triple lane with Burning, Lanem, and MMY. And we're seeing this trend recently where Mirana has been, wow, look at how much she's been pulled. Mirana has been the hard carry of choice for a lot of these teams, and looks like Mushi is just running around trying to, looks like they're rotating again. Yeah, bottom lane is going to be really rough for the Clockwork. That's a pretty potent triple lane, but again, Night Stalker, not the really kill hero that you want. Like an Alchemist would be much better at being able to lock him down if you can stun him from the fog and get inside the cogs before, then you can kill him. But introducing the lineups.
Taking a look at DK, of course, Mushi, the man we've been talking about, going to be getting a lot of attention on both sides. He'll be playing our Shadow Fiend. Naga Siren will be played by Lanham as he takes a swipe or two at the annoying little, I can never remember.
Oh, he's that much closer to mine. He just got a tree and kill.
A little bit of experience, too. Don't forget the bounty, the experience, and the gold bounty has gone up. So, Clockwork.
Experience can't buy you Midas.
Clockwork will be handled by Ice this time around. But seeing a lot more Clockwork of late. Burning, farming up the Mirana, and we'll talk about Mirana in just a moment. I want to talk about why she is so popular now. Here in mid, where we see a little bit of duo lane action going on with Mushi and MMY. MMY handling the Lion to round out DK's lineup so far using that illusion rune. Sylar will be farming up the Nature's Prophet on the other side of the river. CTY, as mentioned, a phenomenal mid in his own right. Playing on Viper, we'll have King J farming up the Night Stalker down in the safe lane with QQQ, stacking, pulling, doing his Frostbite Jungle CM thing. And, of course, XDD will be playing on the Visage. Now, back to Mirana just for a moment. You know, a big reason I think we're seeing her pick up in popularity, I mean, her skill set was never bad.
Watch out for First Blood Talk. It may come soon. Oh, they might die from this wave. With illusions. Nope.
Dire's top tower
Looks like not that interested at the moment. They are putting some pressure on. But with Mirana's ulti, giving you that free smoke.
They're going for him. Right now.
There's the Hex. And the Riptide, the Sacred Arrow is actually off the mark. Siler just didn't even try. The arrow actually missed, and he just stood up and stood there. So, either way, immediately DK on the board, and this does not bode well for Rising Stars, a team which, when they do have success, almost always comes out of the early game.
Yeah, I mean, choosing a safe lane Nature's Prophet, it's like not a bad idea, but versus a triple lane, you should just go jungle and call for a lane rotation or get your supports there. It's just really rough on Nature's Prophet, and they're doing 3-on-1 and 3-on-1 in both of the side lanes, but Clockwork has a much easier time. He's like even checking runes and stuff. He has his boots. Ice is all good to go. He's level 3 because they can't tower dive him. Night Stalker weak in the triple lane, and he has cogs. Looks like Shadow Fiend's about to take a fall in the middle though.
Mushi taking some harass here.
Oh, what a good awareness. Oh my goodness. Mushi.
Backs off.
With that early boost instead of bottle. That's really smart by him.
Yep. Knows he's going to be under a lot of pressure. Knows he's probably going to need it against the Viper as well. Viper's harassing lane is just utterly absurd.
Yeah, he's doing very well in CS too. 9-5 compared to 9-2 CTY. So he's actually on par. That was kind of due to the help of MMY early, kind of lucky in illusion spawn too. So this is exactly this type of start that Mushi needs. So he can't just take on Viper in a straight one-on-one situation. He needs some sort of babysitting the early game. Ice, almost level 4 now. There's a double creep wave too, and it's just so hard to dive him. What are they going to do? They want to kill him. They want to zone him out, but look at King J. He's level 3 right now. He has his boots. Ice just getting way too much. Siler on the other hand, I guess he's level 3.5 too, so he's not doing too poorly. No boots on him, but MMY wrapping around. We may see a go at second blood here.
MMY spotted out by the Treants and actually taking a lot of damage. A little right click from the Prophet and the Creeps. I think when 4 minutes comes, Ice had better have some help. There's going to be a Frostbite, and Visage did not get off the Grave Chill. Does he even have it? Yeah, he does. I was going to say surely he does at level 3. But unable to pursue it out. I think at 4 minutes, though, like right now, they're doing what they can. King J, when 4 minutes comes around and that sun goes down, that's going to be some dangerous times for our little rattle trap.
I hear a ping on top. They really want to kill Siler though. MMY trying to make a path to freedom, but he does not have a Coiling Blade, nor does he have enough tangles to do so. And Siler's doing a very good job of constantly scouting out with these treants, making sure that he doesn't die unnecessarily again. 4-minute rune will spawn on bottom. This illusion rune, and ISSI scouts it out too. So, oh, he's actually going for QQQ.
Here we go. We're going to have the cogs dropped. Ice. Will end up adding a kill to the total, so DK gets a free one there, and that's the only way you can label that. A solo lane Clockwork against the tri-lane just happens to make the right call and scouting out the rune, and now King J right on top of him. This is 4 minutes in. Ice is just going to stand there and swing for a bit. Now Visage shows up, and I guess just seeing King J and deciding, you know what, nowhere for me to go, spent my gold, it's fine. I'll go take a trip back to the well at the freeway.
Ice dying right now is perfectly okay. He already got a kill in the CM on bottom. He's forcing the 2/3 heroes to stay on bottom and not kill Mushi. All they need to do is protect Mushi, get him some more items, and then they just need to get past the early game phase. Ice just needs experience. The creep wave isn't even pushed into his tower, so he's not losing out on that much. He's still able to rock it now and then too. Lana, can they kill Siler right now? I see a rotation from MMY.
Yeah, here Prophet coming in as well. There we go. Sprout's there, but it's in tower range. Are they going to dive? Here comes the TP in. That's going to force them back. 2 heroes. What a beautiful impale off of MMY. Earth Spike actually not impaled. Had Nyx on the mine. They do end up getting 1. Soon to make it 2 kills. The Hex follows it up. And Rising Stars is in dire straits. Siler hung around way too long. They're out of mana, or that would have been a 3rd kill. Now, Visage comes in, going to look to do some damage. Has Soul Assumption if he wants to use it. Will not be able to toss it out as Mirana able to leap away. Shadow Fiend in the meantime was cleaned up by King J, who flat out dove him and just tanked all the tower shots right in the mouth. We'll go ahead and use his ulti as well. So Rising Stars gives a couple away, but in the end they do get the Shadow Fiend. So bad trade, but could have been much, much worse.
Yeah, I mean, you can see DK strategies. Protect Shadow Fiend at all costs, and they had 2 TPs in line. I'm just going to get dove right here. I don't know what he's doing right there. Oh, King J?
One more tower shot. There it is.
Oh, and Mushi gets experience. That's pretty big.
That is pretty big.
7.5 after that.
Yep. So a little bit of over-aggressiveness. And, Night Stalker is one of those heroes, Merlini. You and I have talked about it. during the cast and such. I think we've yet to really see his full potential post-patch. We've seen some teams experiment with him, but I think we're going to see more of him, and I really think we're going to see teams really get a better handle on the hero than they have now.
Yeah, the hero's like decent, but I haven't seen him dominate. He's not like a first pick. He's like a 4/5th pick, and even then, he's like, he kind of reminds me of like Abaddon. It's like, oh my goodness, Abaddon's so good, and people started picking him as soon as he was released in Captain's mode. But he didn't really do anything, and then he just kind of fell off. I actually don't predict that he'll be seen that often. He's like okay, but teams that are really good at playing passively nowadays and counter ganking, as witnessed by them trying to tower dive Mushi earlier, and just a very nice impale by MNY, but they're just so good at protecting people nowadays that if you don't really get kills with NS, you're actually that far behind, and I don't think teams like that sort of pressure.
Ice actually just did Mushi a favor there, hanging out, scouted to the north, popped the smoke. That could have been a very bad dive from Mushi. Did have an invis rune, though, so very possibly would have stayed alive. Now up at top, burning, facing, just soaking experience and facing in the backwards direction, and gets the Void off, does some damage, but the leap still gets him to safety. In the meantime, Crystal Maiden still has not had her smoke pop, so we see QQQ continuing to hang around and look to make something happen.
Yeah, placing wards in the meantime, too. He's dropped 2 wards. Looks like Burning may be in trouble looking at this ward. It's very difficult to tell what the vision is. You have to press like F1 or F2 to actually see what the Dire's vision looks like. It sees like most of this area, too. So yeah, we see rotation from Burning. He is not level 6, just 1 creep away. Where you may see an Invis gank with Moonlight Shadow. 8-minute about to hit, but we need another 25 seconds for that darkness to wear off.
Yep. And right now, DK, and you know, this is good for them. This is what you need to do, and we've seen it time and time again. If you can derail Rising Stars early, they really have a hard time coming
Mushi
back.
Has a haste too, so like he had picked up an Invis rune, now a haste, so that just makes it that much easier for him to get his BKB. He just needs to be able to survive, and these runes may even yield him a kill right now.
Here we go. Pops the haste rune, nut. Eats the Void as well as a Grave Chill and a little bit of damage from Soul Assumption. Will be forced back, but he has help hanging around. Now, clock is 6 if he wants to take a shot, however. 3 under the tower here means probably not the best proposition, and Burning took a little far mid. Looks like he's ready to rotate back to top, so DK cutting their losses, not willing to invest too much into a lost endeavor.
I think it's very smart of them to have 3 observer wards up right now. They had 1 right here, 1 right here, and 1 right here. They just need to keep tabs. Oh, they had 1 right here. It just got dewarded. They just need to keep tabs with Rising Stars right now. Kind of dodge fights, which they're pretty good at doing. And if they really want to take a fight, just hookshot in or just start off with a Naga Siren ult into a Requiem, and they should probably win the fight there if a high priority target gets fingered in death immediately. Looks like we see our first push to the game happening on bottom. Nature's Prophet has still not rotated on top. 1850 gold. Looks like our favorite item is almost online.
I was just checking it. Too. Was just checking it as well. And Siler, well, he's got 1900. We'll see if he wants to go ahead and one-shot buy it or not. The meantime, at bottom.
You know you want to, Siler.
There's an ensnare on the King J. He's got help behind him. Only the Visage is there right now. There's the ulti popped, and Moonlight Shadow goes off as well. And Nature's Wrath not doing a ton of damage. Don't think it actually caught the heroes. Burning picks up. Yep, Burning will be getting a Midas. No surprise there as he's picked up his Glove of Haste. And Fury on up. No surprise. Defense of the Midas continues here on the D2L. And once again, the over-under I gave before was 9.5 minutes. Pretty damn close. It was a little past it this time.
He even gave First Blood, too, so pretty good farm by him. King J looking for kills, but darkness is over, buddy. It's pretty difficult for him to look for kills right now.
Here we go. Rising Stars. Even though it is daytime, they're going to go hunting for some blood. Ice is in range to drop some cogs if they decide to sell out for it. MMY, not far away.
Really good wards, though. This ward completely spots them out. They're so ready for a tower dive, and looks like Mushi actually got a free bird kill, too. Or maybe it was a tower, I don't know.
There's a hook on to QQQ. Cogs go down and knock him onto the low ground. Should be able to finish him up, and will after the Hex. Mushi got that kill. Could not have given it to a better hero, and he almost drew the Familiar out. The Familiar took 1 shot, and because of the DD, almost died immediately, but still yet, a little extra goal going his way, and Rising Stars has had the right mindset, trying to do anything they can to slow Mushi down. Unfortunately for them, he's sitting right there with CTY atop the CS board. When you take a look at the net worth, he is on top of net worth with Burning right behind him.
Yeah, things are just not going well for QQQ this game. He's been caught out of position too many times right now. One right here and one right here. Like, what is he doing as a CM by himself? Unless you're warding. If you're warding, then it's okay. But he was just like standing there, just chilling, and they had all already backed off. So you kind of have to suspect that they have a ward over there. QQQ, he should just stay with the Visage to minimize deaths. Oh, my control key was held down or something.
Speaking of QQQ, trying to make up some ground by heading into the jungle. Sylar, after his Midas, now making some... Well, I mean, it's hard to tell anymore. I mean, generally speaking, you saw Furion, you knew it was going to be a Shadow Blade at some point. Now we're seeing a little bit of mixture in there. Sometimes you see him go with the mech. Sometimes you see him grab a Force Staff, play more of the old school.
I think it's just a straight-up Necro book. I think they need it early. MMY trying to kill King J on top. This is it. Pretty dangerous.
Oh, there's the Finger of Death following the Sacred Arrow. CTY is there, as is XDD. There's the leap, not going to get him away in time. So they trade 2 for 1. In the meantime, they're going to push mid. Saw the ping come out immediately. Mushi and Lanham in position. Mid tower, though, is at 3/4 health. Looks like Rising Stars will commit to pushing their own tier 1. In the meantime, Clock, not the most push-heavy hero in the world, unable to do much down to that bottom tier 1, and yeah, they're not even really trying to push here now. Looks like Mushi's just going to grab a rune. He will go ahead and rotate down, which makes, no, actually the tower's in better shape. So nice turnaround from Rising Stars. Just the catalyst they need to get things back under control.
Yeah, and they almost had the mech out on Viper. He has 1,200 gold right now since he just got the last hit. That is his mech, and now Rising Stars just needs to put the pressure right now. Their late game is not as good as DK. Mushi does not have his BKB. They have to make something happen right now to capitalize on their early advantage, and the gold advantage might not be that much in their favor right now. It just swing from 750 DK to 750 Rising Stars, but with their lineup right now and with that early mech, they can definitely take them out on a 5-on-5 engagement.
DK looking to be under pressure. Level 6 for Naga means they do have one get-out-of-jail-free card if they want to use it. And right now, CTY just continuing to farm away, though. As you said, got the mech up, little bonus armor, ups their team fight potential. Burning did get his Midas up, so no surprise. There's Midas number 2 onto the board. We'll see how many end up being built.
Over, under?
On the total number?
Yeah.
I think 3.5 is pretty fair. 3.5 is fair.
3.5? I think 2.5 is fair. I don't know who's the third person.
I would have...
Maybe
do we ever know? Mushi could abandon his BKB and go straight Midas.
I think a fair number is 8.5.
Yeah, exactly. That's the number we all want. Ice. Drops the cogs after being voided. There's the Moonlight Shadow. And let's see if they're going to respond. Nope, Burning just going to continue to split push here. Doing his thing against Sylar, not really feeling that scared. Midas on Midas action, just the right kind of kinky here on the D2L.
But favorite kind of action.
And Rising Stars, we saw them do this earlier. If they're going to take this tower, they need to do it sooner rather than later. They don't need to be wasting a lot of time taking what should be a sure thing.
This is what Rattlesnake should have done.
Yeah.
In their first game, I believe. They just needed to start 5 minutes early with a mech and just take down towers. The Rising Stars is on the right page. They're actually... Ooh, this is going to be a fight with Song of Siren initiate, maybe.
There we go. Lanham caught a ton of them. Caught all 5. Let's see how they want to do this. Lining up. The Earth Spike, and Shadow Fiend ulti goes off. There's so much damage done. CTY gets the mech off, but it's not going to matter. Furion's already down. CTY trying to make an escape. Burning leaps away, but King J's right there with him. There's an immediate buyback from Furion. Lanham trying to run. In the meantime, Cogs went down. CTY did secure the kill, though. And now Lanham spotted out by Sylar, who TP'd behind enemy lines. Mushi not willing to turn around and do anything. No stun, though, means Lanham will be able to make it away to safety. Big win.
They didn't kill the Viper. They didn't use enough spells on him. I don't exactly know why Mushi was so far back. They had a very good setup right there. I also don't know why MMY ran so far in. They could. There were like 2 heroes slept over here, 1 slept over here, 1 slept over here, 1 slept over here, and they like MMY was like over here, and the rest of his team was like over here. And, like Lion just got picked off. He was 4 seconds away from Finger. He could have easily bursted someone down had he just waited a few more seconds. They could have just double impaled these 2 or just arrowed and then cogged the rest out over here. If anything, I think Ice should have been in this area. But the fight was just very, very sloppy. You think a Naga, Song, and Siren Ultimate would end up in a lot better fight, but they were just caught somewhat off guard there, and I don't think that they expected CTY to be able to survive that. He has 1100 HP, he has max corrosive skin, he has magic wand, and he has a mech. They cannot underestimate the tankiness of this hero, and I think if this game continues to go poorly for them, then I think DK should just straight up ban Viper next game. This is one of the most underrated heroes in 6.79, I feel.
Right now, Rising Stars making your point for you, my friend. They're 4,000 gold ahead of DK. And the top, Burning just continuing to farm, but he is still a ways away. And you know, if you want to answer Midas's, if you want to punish too many hand of Midas pickups, this is exactly how you do it. Hang on, Mushi up. Looked like they were going to engage. Here come the familiars. There's going to be a hook, though, on a Siler. They get the cogs off. There's an Earth Spike on King J, and the finger is there, and the Hex to follow it. Freezing Field doing decent damage, but only catching Ice, Ice, Ice. He will end up dropping. They trade 2 for 1, losing King J and the Nature's Prophet. They're still going to end up getting the tower. So DK, even though they held the line somewhat well, if they get CTY, it might be worthwhile. There's a few raises, but they end up giving one away, and now Mushi's in trouble. CTY has the Aegis popped off. Burning came in to help. Moonlight Shadow helping things out. There's Viper's Midas, by the way. You wondered who the other one was going to be. And now we have our answer.
Oh, boy.
Up and
how could I doubt it?
Sacred Arrow off the mark. 11-10, a back-and-forth match. We can see DK did make up some ground there, though, making up about 1,500 gold. All things told.
He doesn't have TP. He's so screwed. Unless he manages to pick out some sick jukes. Nope.
Yep.
Mushi, you gotta buy your TP scroll, bro. He didn't actually lose any gold there, so not the biggest loss. The fight actually went pretty well for DK there, considering they didn't have their ultimates of that fight. No Song or Siren, and no Requiem.
Told
that
you.
Fight. The BKB, though, so important. Wow. Okay, so we have 4 Midases.
Told you.
Oh, my goodness.
3.5's a fair number, man. 3.5's a fair number.
Oh, jeez.
So we both hit the nail on the head. I got the time right. You got the number right.
Oh, my goodness. Midas is everywhere.
There's
it's never going to end.
There's a nice image that was made by our good friend Sesh, a.k.a. Conrad, a.k.a. Quantum Pope, that was submitted to Reddit. If you want to go check that out on the Dota Reddit. It is what Dota's become. I won't spoil the fun, but go toss an upvote on it because I think it's pretty clever, especially for a guy trying to, run a production while he's playing on Photoshop. GG, fire Connie. But anyway, 11-11, my friend. I mean, and right now, what I was going to say is I think this is how you answer it. If you're, Sacred Arrow, let him a little bit too much, just a little bit too much. Oh, what did he hit? He hit XDD through the trees. No follow-up on it.
He has a Midas too.
Yep. So that's how many now?
Okay, so we have 5 versus 1, or 4 versus 1.
Yep.
So looks like Rising Stars gonna win this.
Obviously.
That's my prediction. Yeah. More Midas. Well, I mean, unless DK gets 5. It's not too late, man.
Oh, see, this makes no sense to me. Like, you have the lead. You built yourself a nice lead. I understand Midas is a get-ahead item, and that's all well and good. Why not just...
You were the lead.
Yeah. Why not just build other things that help you push your advantage? Like, I don't know. We'll see.
Scepter.
Yeah.
On Viper.
Anything.
CM.
Anything.
Everywhere.
We'll see, though. This is definitely a new game of Dota. This ain't your
daddy's
daddy's
DK beat the mass Midas strat. This is the real question.
Exactly. The question of our times. Up here's an ensnare. They're going to engage on an XDD. The nice loop around picks off Visage. They might want to push off that. They got 30 seconds, and they're going to get the familiars as well. So pretty sure that Mushi got both of those. That's an extra 100 gold per piece. So that he basically made 400 gold with Midas plus. That actually wasn't him. Never mind. That was the Burning using his Midas that time.
Rising Stars, their supports just keep getting caught out of position, though. That cannot happen. Just absolutely solo kill for absolutely nothing in return. I don't know what they're doing, or what they're thinking. They need to stick together. Just stick with your team, stick with your Viper, so he can counter initiate if they so desire. But like Rising Stars just giving DK freebies. DK should not be this close into the game. It was like 4,000 gold lead. It's cutting down to 3,500 right now, and that with the Midases and with the supports being cut off now and then, like DK should gain a slight advantage. I think it's really gonna boil down to these fights. So we see smoke on smoke action. Ice finds him.
This could be bad. There's a Hex to lead things off in the ensnare to follow it up. Soul Assumption does decent damage. Sacred Arrow's on the mark. XDD in trouble. Here's the BKB and the ulti. XDD almost cleaned up. There's a Finger of Death to help bring down King J. In the meantime, Mushi cleaning house with right clicks. Sprouts there to lock in Ice. There's the Song of the Siren. And I'm a little surprised they're actually leaving this fight. I don't really think they had to leave that fight. They got their win. They brought down 2 heroes. Yeah, the damage is... I mean, Viper's in great shape, but I don't think he's in that good a shape. Nonetheless, DK takes what they can get.
They got to go home to get their Midases, man.
Yeah, that's the best I can figure is maybe... How is Lone Druid not a first pick right now? Because Lone Druid can have 2 Midases. Wouldn't that mean they automatically win if they pick Lone Druid?
Supposedly. Supposedly. Well, I mean, it's still pretty close game though. DK is taking the fight to them because they spent how much gold into Midas? 8,000 gold into Midas. Okay, so if you subtract the 8,000 gold because 30% attack speed doesn't really do anything for a lot of the heroes, we're looking at like a 5,000 gold lead for DK, which is pretty significant. I mean, I guess they've like actually used it in Midas a couple of times, so maybe we'll cut that number down to like 6,000 or something, but still, advantage still goes to DK in these team fights, and they know that, and they have to press an advantage right now. A lot of the times when teams get Midas, they just, hey, let's just farm up and let's just play like we normally do, but no. DK sees it into their inventory, they're like, well, silly supports, we will just crush them really, really quickly, and that's exactly what they're doing, and they're trying to compensate for that gold right now, but they lost like a little bit. If they had lost Roshan, it would be, I would say the Midases aren't worth it. If DK can like kind of get back in this game by winning one more fight and then doing Roshan, it's the Midases certainly would not have paid for themselves.
Mushi split pushing, finding a lot of flash farm, TPing away, will be able to make it. QQQ could not get into Frostbite range in time, so barely dodging the bullet, taking some free gold. In the meantime, MMY and Lanham finding their own farm down in their own friendly jungle. Take a look at the net worth. We can see Burning is where Burning tends to be, atop the net worth charts. Furion right behind him, but Mushi right behind him. And, you know, Viper, as good as the hero is, right now is when he needs to be being very active. I mean, it looks, he's picked up the point booster, so one would imagine
that'll be active in the neutrals, some busy Midasing creeps.
Exactly. That's kind of what's happening right now. He's got his point booster, but hopefully when he gets his scepter up, if that is indeed the choice, and by all accounts it should be.
Refresher Midas?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I got nothing. I got nothing for you.
Except, yes, more Midases, more win.
Build mini Midas. That is the new Dota slogan. Build mini Midas. Win games.
Lion has 2150 gold and he spends it on Blink Dagger. Is this a mistake?
No, it's what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Awesome yellow hand. He'd have one big red hand and one big yellow hand. How awesome would that be?
What do you mean? Is it a mistake? It's like, it's not a question of if it's a mistake. It's how big. It's how big a mistake. Is it the worst mistake ever, or just one of the worst mistakes ever? That's the question.
They have everything up but Song on the side right now. 10 seconds left. They have the Gemma Truce actually picked up by Naga very, very early. Is he going to hook shot in? Nope. Looks like they want to actually kill the Furion. There's going to be a TP very soon, and a Blink. Siler does not know what's coming. Oh, actually, maybe he does.
Running away, MMY is right there. Oh, misses with the Earth Spike.
Into the Necro 3, though. That thing is way too dangerous.
Miss with the Earth Spike.
That's a very fast Necro 3, though.
And here comes Mushi, ready to take the farm and defend the tower. So DK sent packing once again back to their own safe side of the jungle. And I'm waiting to see what Rising Stars is going to do with this. They've got so many good items. They've got the BKB
up. Midas on King J to complete the 5 Midas team.
Well, why wouldn't you? And they are going to smoke up. They've got BKB on the Night Stalker. They've got the Urn on the Crystal Maid. But more importantly, they've got the Medallion up on the Visage. They've got so many good fighting items right now. And
they just need to take out Roshan again, and then they'll have a really big lead. They can force the issue at the T2s and the Star Val DK with Nighttime. Maybe get a Scepter up on Night Stalker, and then they just have like so much map control right now. Night Stalker has a smoke. Nighttime still probably 3 minutes left. I hear a hook shot.
Yep, that's going to be on the Siler. Ice has him hemmed up and locked down. Here comes MMY. Earth Spike's there to help clean things up. So the Furion at the very least. The Prophet being held down quite a bit. And here in mid, they're going to spot Burning. And the Lincoln Sphere showed off for the first time as he leaps away. Mushi's there and showing his face. Happy to use the raises to zone them out a little bit. CTY continues to farm up. Will be a Scepter choice as he's added a Blade of Alacrity.
It's Midas time, guys. Time to retreat.
He's added a Blade of Alacrity to his inventory to go with the point booster. So it definitely will be a Midas. Or excuse me, it definitely will be a Scepter, damn it. Of course it will be a Midas as well. I mean, why wouldn't it be? But I don't know, man. 25 minutes in, and DK finally looking like they're ready to move back out.
He's so farmed. CTY, my goodness. Phase Mech Scepter Midas in 25 minutes. That is extremely
Hex on the King J. Look at the right click and the Earth Spike. It's there, not even necessary. They cannot lose their Night Stalker at night.
See, he has BKB, but it doesn't matter. If you get Hex, he's dead.
Yep. And there's the Scepter done on Viper, but not done soon enough. And there's going to be a hook to re-engage. They're going to end up catching XDD and blown up with Finger. Now, Burning has the double damage. He will end up bringing down one of the familiars. And let's see how hard they want to push off of this. Visage is down now. Viper is still up. Obviously, the big problem here. Lincoln Sphere helping Burning out quite a bit. And here come the Necro Creeps. And that'll be enough to force them back. Now, they're not going to Midas for the most part. They're just going to farm the old school way. Like, I mean, basically DK farms like hipsters, dude.
let this get taken though. It's been almost 11 minutes now. I think it respawned like 11 and a half minutes.
Yeah.
Or 10 and a half minutes rather. So they have to know that it's up within the next 30 seconds. They have to go there, contest it. If CTY gets it, they can just brute force down a T2. They can't take him down twice, and he's just so annoying with Scepter that they kind of have to disable him. Ideally, I think you just like hex him and then like let everyone else just ignore him for the most part, or like hog and force staff out, something like that. And just try and kill everybody else. 5-second aerial on him would be fantastic too. He doesn't have a BKB, so he's still a little bit prone, but right now he can just stand in the middle, fights Viper Strike wherever he wants, and if he gets an Aegis, he's just going to be just crush everyone in the team fights, and it doesn't matter if you have BKBs or not. You won't be able to do any damage.
DK, looks like they're taking it easy, farming their own way up. Take a look at the goal graph. Yeah, that lead, and how many times have we seen this over and over again? Merlini, but I mean, like, pretty much, it seems like every game we cast Rising Stars, this happens. They get off to a good start, and then they just they don't manage to push it, and all of a sudden...
Is it because they didn't get 5 minuses, or is it because they're just not good at their mid game?
A little column A, a little column B. Like most things, there is a gray area. King J spots out Ice. They are going to engage. And there's the immediate Midnight Shadow. There's a hook onto him as well to slow him down, but spotted out and cleaned up. And the Sacred Arrow will connect on the XDD. Siler's there as well. Do they want to try and force it down?
BKB. King J, he didn't need to cast it right there. Clockwork doesn't have a Force Staff or anything, so he's not going to be able to get away. If he silences Viper Strike, he's dead.
Diffusal done on Burning. His kill potential going up considerably.
I think it's for Necro Books. Oh, Diffusal up?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think it's for Necro Books. They need to be able to purge that thing pretty fast, especially the True Sight one where they have Moonlight Shadow up. The thing is really annoying if you have Invis.
And Lincoln's popped. Oh, MMY thought about throwing out an Earth Spike. Opted not to do so. And here's the Song of the Siren. CTY is going to be the goal. This is a big pick. Here we go, and ulti goes off. CTY hexed out, ensnared down, and my goodness, guys, overkill much? XDD will be able to TP away, and QQQ might get caught. Lanham's right on his tail, moving much quicker. QQQ still sitting on brown boots because he opted for Midas, and there it is.
Arrow to the face, actually to the back.
Yep.
Are they going to push mid now? CTY actually bought his Ogre Club, so he's going for a BKB after this nonsense. Oh, wait, nope, it's going to be a Roshan. I think they can trade a T2 for a Roshan. That's not a bad trade for them. Oh, no. We see a rotation from Lion. He does have a point. This tower is so low right now. If he had Necrobook up right now, that tower would be gonzo. Oh, there's a Necrobook. So... yeah, this tower is going to get denied.
Roche drops in the meantime. I do want to point out the reason CM died there was because she opted to buy a Midas instead of tier 2 boots. Midas has its drawbacks, kiddos. Burning moves back in, uses his Midas. Taking a look, I mean, Burning's getting pretty stacked now. He's got his Diffuse left. He's got 1,200 gold in the bank. Manta style wouldn't be a terrible choice, or he could just go pure flat-out right-click damage.
Said Midas has drawbacks? That is nonsense. The only drawback is that you can't have 2 of them on different cooldowns.
Lone Druid, first pick, first man. I'm telling you, new meta incoming. As it stands though, Mushi getting quite large and in charge himself. He's got 4,800 gold to go with his Yasha. We'll be able to flat out buy a Manta style right about now. And I mean, Rising Stars again, like they're keeping it even. It's not like this game has completely gotten away from them. They lost their lead. The problem is DK now has Mushi in a situation where he is ultra farmed. What did he pick up? Now he's actually going straight up Satanic.
That is interesting, just because I don't think he'll be able to lifesteal that much, because Viper has just been on his nuts all game every time with Viper Strike during BKB, and it's only a 12-second cooldown, lasts for 5 seconds, so we're talking like pretty high uptime on him, and it's like, I don't know, I just don't feel like like a Lincoln Sphere, for example, I think would be really good. It will block Viper Strike, and maybe someone else can cast on him. Maybe Burning with his awesome micro, maybe can just preemptively cast it on Mushi when he BKBs, which I don't actually know if you can cast it on people while he gets BKB, but that's a very good counter versus Viper Strike, because there's nothing really you can do versus it, except if you have like really good Manta dodge timings or something like that, but we'll see.
DK moving as 5 now, all grouped up in the Dire side jungle. 2,500 gold in the bank for the Naga Siren. She's going to have room to buy what she wants. And Clock, just about done with his Scepter now. Still needs about another 1,000 gold to finish it. But Clockwork's one of those heroes that, I mean, Scepter, obviously, if it upgrades your ultimate, it upgrades your ultimate. But it completely changes the way it feels to play against a Clockwork once he gets a Scepter up. Just knowing that hook is perpetually off cooldown makes it so much more difficult to move out and be aggressive because you never have any idea when it's coming or where it's going to be coming from. They take the free tier 2 at top. Now, kind of rattling their Saber at tier 3. Don't know. Yep, they're not going to commit. Just going to go ahead and back and go use Hand of Midas some more.
Trying to outfarm people with Midases, though? How dare you? DK has been doing a very good job, though, of playing this game, kind of adapting to what Rising Stars has done. And I think that this may actually be a game where we see the team with more Midases lose. And is that even possible?
I'm pretty sure if it is, it's a bug. We need to alert.
Volvo, please.
Please. Volvo, please. 19 to 12.
Very close to BKB on CTY. This will be pretty important for him. He needs to just be able to, if they like trade BKB, Shadow Fiend, and Viper, and then just like Viper Strike him, so he's used. Oh, you see a hook shot from downtown.
Yep, Sylar
with his book 3.
caught up,
Where's
blown
book
up,
3, man?
And Viper Strike reinitiate. They're going to try to mech through it. Moonlight Shadow is there. Ice is getting bursted down, and Sylar's going to survive. CTY on this Viper is just doing massive amounts of damage, and they managed to turn what should have been a sure thing into a 2-for-1 exchange. In the meantime, Mushi looks to split push bottom. And he and Burning hooking up. King J's there. Here comes the TP. They've got one waiting in the wings as well. That's XDD. And yeah, they're going to be forced off here too. So very nice exchange coming out from Rising Stars, and they're actually managing to hold par.
This is the second time that DK has underestimated the tankiness of these two heroes. The Viper with all these defensive abilities and a ton of HP, and same with the Nature's Prophet. Necro 3 gives you 16 strength, which is a lot of HP, and he's tankier than most Nature's Prophets. Most of them only have the Ultimate Orb for the Scythe of Vice. They don't have anything else. We see Mushi get sheeped on top.
Mushi sheeped out, no follow-up though. Mushi just hitting way too hard to stand and go toe-to-toe, and trying to kill him with a BKB and a Satanic up in a one-on-one situation. Yeah. Good call, Sylar. That wasn't going to happen. Chances are you were going to end up dead yourself. But after that exchange, I mean, Rising Stars, they're managing to keep DK from opening up a gap, but they're unable to get things really back in their favor. They did manage to put a dent into the experience gap, though. It was getting up near 5-digit territory. But as it stands, the tops in net worth are both heroes from DK. However, after that, it's all Rising Stars for the next 4 positions. So this is actually a much closer game than I expected.
Yeah, I think so too. 80-20, gotta be scared for some people's rares. XDD, I don't know what he's working on. Looks like the sheep again.
And yeah, DK's kind of, they seem like they want to be aggressive, but they just, I don't want to say they chicken out or anything. It's obviously very deliberate and very well thought through. But they keep getting into position like they're ready to launch a major attack, and Rising Stars is moving well, so I mean, don't get me wrong. But it just seems like DK is a little trigger shy right now. Like they're not really sure of how well they can engage in a Rising Stars.
Yeah, I mean, they should be a little bit scared. Shadow Fiend does have the Aegis, but he can certainly die twice if he's caught out of position. Looking at the timer, 45 seconds until Roshan responds. Don't think they'll take him 5 before them, but I could be mistaken. All 5 of them headed down towards that bottom T2.
Burning leading the charge, has got 4,700 gold in his inventory. The Aegis will be reclaimed in 30 seconds, so if they want to get something out of it, now's the time. Ice is under cover of an invis. We'll spot the familiars flying overhead. Does not have a ton of vision, though. And this tier 2 bottom just going to go uncontested, so that's going to be the last remaining outer tier tower dropping. DK themselves, though, only have 1 remaining as well. So still a very even match by all metrics. Mushi caught out with the Viper Strike. And Rising Stars able to once again hold serve. And Manta, yeah, looks like they're just going to slow push this. Just freeing up some room. Oh, hang on, they're going to go for it. Mushi moves ahead, has his BKB up. There's the Hex. Can they blow him up fast enough? Mushi up. He will end up dying. BKB on King J, and that's going to run DK out of town. Ice left behind, drops the cogs. Big mistake in over-aggressiveness. Burning will be able to TP away. Ice, not likely to be as lucky. Is under cover of Moonlight Shadow, but they should be able to track him down. The dust did catch him, so it will be a bit of a hassle. But Rising Stars able to hold the tier 3, able to take a big win. They bring down Mushi, they bring down the clock, and Roshan should be back up sometime soon. As we can see, the initial timer just about to run out, so they're going to be able to get in for this next Roche engagement.
Yeah, taking down Mushi is just so important right now. He doesn't have buyback, and they're 1 minute away until the Roche spawn. Could be any time in between. I haven't actually seen a spawn in the 8 to 9 minute mark, but probably just haven't watched enough Dota right now. They actually picked up a gem 2. That is pretty scary on the visage. He has 2,000 gold right now. He's been saving his gold for something. Oh, I guess it's the scythe.
Burning has picked up a damage item in the Daedalus. Knew he could go with something like that if he just wanted the ability to blow heroes up. And has his survivability pretty well handled so far. Looks like Rising Stars, Sacred Arrow is actually going to be blocked by the Familiars. No way to follow that up. The rest of Rising Stars will go ahead and back out. So a lot of back and forth on both sides. Neither team really willing to commit to much of anything so far.
Yep. There's some delay tactics going on right now. Mushi, yeah, I mean, Satanic, I still just don't know why he got it this early. I mean, it's a good item in general, but not when you can't attack at all. There's just so many ways to disable him, even through BKBs. So I'm not a big fan of the build after that. Clearly, he should have gone Midas and Refresher.
Oh, clearly. Well, why wouldn't you? But, I mean, looking at the way this late game is going to pan out, we are getting close to the late game, 36 minutes in, almost 37. Mushi no longer sits atop the total net worth. He's right in range of the top two, but Burning has taken over that position. And really, I feel like Burning's going to be the hero on which more of this rides. Mushi is kind of done what he's going to do. I mean, he will give you some pretty big right-click burst. And if he lands a good ulti, he can melt down some supports really quickly. But with so much time and effort given to Burning to free himself up, the Daedalus up, 1,200 gold aside, a lot of his play got to determine the outcome here for DK.
Yeah, the gold is like almost dead even right now, which is pretty surprising, actually. Well, Roshan is up. Who's going to do it next?
Even the experience. The experience is kind of a big deal, too. Very near. Wow. Radiance picked up by Lanham. So going with a Radiance burn support Naga Siren. And
dang. Imagine how much faster he could have gotten that with that yellow hand of GG gold.
Yellow hand of GG gold. Hashtag Merlini says.
I said Midas too many times today. I've hit my quota.
Midas. And there's going to be a Halberd out on the Night Stalker. That's a nice solution to the right click that Mushi and Burning can both pour out. And Rising Stars is actually doing something right now that we have not seen them do very well. They're not only have they managed to hold, we've seen them be able to hold some disadvantages before, but they're able to, they feel calm and comfortable. They're not overextending. They're not making bad decisions. They're playing this mid-game out, and as it reaches its end and we approach the late game, with a pretty deliberate set of goals in mind. And so far, it's gone really, really well. Sylar even adding a Demon Edge just for some more right-click.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, things are still just so close right now. DK has the Roshan advantage, I think, with Shadow Fiend minus armor, with Potomero, with Naga, Song of the Siren, but I don't know if they have enough control for right now. Still a very close lead held by, I don't even know which team right now. It sleeps like slightly in favor of Rising Stars. Momentum's definitely on their side because they killed Mushi in the last fight, but I mean, with a Radiance pickup now, things are going to be, people are going to be scared to come around these fights.
DK once again together in mid. Mushi with 2,400 gold. And waiting to see how they want to take this. MMY, 1,300 set aside, has his 4 staff as well. Burning, up to 2,800 gold. In this situation, he's already got survivability. You think a BKB for even more, or do you think just get some more damage? Get some more something that's going to help you just run this team over?
More deeps, man. I always like the deeps.
We get some deeps. And speaking of deeps, Rising Stars looking to pour some out as they smoke up and move through the Dire Side secret shop. DK, though, for the most part, is pulled back. The last straggler in Mushi looked like he was going to pull back, but actually just going to move back out. So they suspect what's up. Looks like they're just ready for it.
Are they going to catch it? I don't really know how they're going to initiate. Like the past couple times they initiated with Song of the Siren is just, it's like decent, just not complete explosion. Let's see what they do this time. Oh, someone's TP'd out. They see Furion. Oh, wait, that was with the TP school.
And here we go. There's a hook that actually comes in. Sylar's there. MMY going to be hexed out. And here comes the nighttime. King J rushes in. BKB's there. 4 staff tries to get him out of the way. Cogs go down. This cut the fight in half. Ice, frostbitten down. Here comes Viper Strike on him. Burning, trying to do what damage he can as this Linkage is popped. And King J actually being blown up. There's a Finger of Death to help finish. Oh, wow. Rising Stars in big trouble. The ulti a little mistimed, though. Still managed to get most of the damage off. In the meantime, big disaster as Rising Stars is run out of this jungle. And all that CTY can do, the leader of this team, the one big hope they had moving towards the late game, and he's forced to just TP out and leave nothing but a trail of corpses behind him. DK took a game that honestly could have gone either way. They have blown it wide open with that engagement, Merlini.
King J has just gotten absolutely destroyed these fights, and this is the problem with like triple laning Night Stalker. Like, he doesn't have any farm. He has BKB and Heaven's Halberd, but I mean, all jokes aside, without the Midas, and he's probably one of the lowest on net worth. Looking at net worth right now, Night Stalker like 11,000 compared to Viper 17,000, and compare that to almost double at 22,000 for the Potem and Shadow Fiend. He just can't compare. And if he BKB, sleep, kill him. Doesn't matter. Take him out of the fight. If he doesn't BKB, just sleep and kill him after. He doesn't. It doesn't matter. He can't tank anything right now. He just doesn't have enough HP. He doesn't have enough damage to be a threat either. And I don't know. Like, Night Stalker's like okay as a hero, but like, what are you supposed to do? It's not like he's done poorly this game. He's like 5, 6, and 6. He's been with his team a lot. He's been getting a lot of kills. He hasn't getting picked off on necessarily. But in come team fight time, what does a Night Stalker really do? He just like latches on a hero. He's like a life stealer, but like weaker, I guess. I don't know. I don't like the hero that much. I'm not a big fan.
He's a hero that you just need to get a certain amount of mileage out of early on, and so far in D2L play,
I think they did pretty well in the early game, though, I think.
He bounced around. I mean, like you said, though, he's a hero. 5, 6, and 6 is just isn't where you want him. You want him sitting in that 4 and 1 range, that 5 and 1 range. And I feel like that's something that they just kind of struggle with as a team, but in this game in particular is they took some fights, they got some kills, they made the game basically march to their beat, but they did it at a cost. They were always trading something away, and unfortunately the hero they needed to keep alive in King J just was unable to really hit snowball status because he tended to get traded away in these fights. And
at the expense of CTY, but CTY is just like super farm right now, but he can't do anything by himself. He's like super annoying, but sure, someone's Viper Strike and you can survive during a BKB, but if no one else survives but CTY, then he can't do anything. He doesn't have the deeps.
Speaking of deeps, how about a whole bunch going the way of Mushi as he completes his Daedalus now?
I'm surprised he didn't get a butterfly. That's like the standard build.
I think they just want to blow. They just want to blow Rising Stars out of the game. Basically, they're going to walk up here and just try to blow them up. And here we go. Going to go for it. Mushi up front. Just look how quickly that tower is melting. And here we go. They're going to try to engage. Mushi down to half health. Going to be scythed out. Do they have the damage to ward them off?
Yeah,
Mushi down to a quarter. Yep, there's the cheese. Broad back gets there on the King J. There's a hook in. Mushi just going to town. Right-clicking down King J. Could not even get an attack off. Ulti will do the damage. And Freezing Field is there. Burning will end up having the Aegis popped. Lanham buys his team the time they need. And Burning ready to go right back to work. There's one down. CTY next on the list. See you later. That's a full 5-man wipe. That's one set of racks, probably 2, probably GG.
I think we can actually say that Midas has actually cost someone the game, cost the team the game this game, and let this be a lesson to other teams. Like, I think it's good in some situations, but I think 4 in any situation is overkill. If they had a pipe and just more items on other heroes and just force the issue a little bit earlier, they didn't even take down this T2. They had such a big lead, and they kind of just threw it away. If you look at the goal graph, it was like, it just went away. But before DK had the lead, Rising Stars had the lead, and then like as soon as they got all the Midases, DK just absolutely crushed them all in team fights because they sunk 8,000 gold into Midases. Like,
oh, exactly. No, I mean, all jokes aside, I mean, obviously it's been a running joke all night. We saw 5 Midases this game. We saw 4 the games before. The item does come with a downside, and it's like it's one of the. We were joking about it before we just started kind of just saying the word Midas a lot to be funny. But the joke is, if the other team buys Midas, why don't you buy mid-game items that just go run them over? And really, that's what kept DK in this game. And eventually, they only had 1 Midas, but it was all they needed because it was on the one carry who needed to farm. So by the time it kicked in for Burning, they had held serve enough that Rising Stars were just unable to capitalize.
Mushi did not give in to greed.
Exactly.
Greed is not good sometimes. And Mushi, I think he played really well this game, but his team just babysat him so well in middle. And I think if any team were to go Mass Midas, this would have been DK, not like the Night Stalker lineup, the Crystal Maiden Visage. Like, they need to kill people, right? They need to kill people all the time. They're the ones who's supposed to be bringing pressure. And once you get Midases, you're like, oh, I should probably farm. We have the late game, blah, 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 blah. But that's definitely not the case. Not versus Burning, not versus Mushi. Those are 2 players who do not want to out farm. So congratulations to DK.
toppling the Midas Kings, and we may see the Midas trend stem after this.
Yeah, right. We're gonna see 5 more.
Who am I
Midas.
kidding?
Exactly. Let's get real here. 28
Clearly,
to 17.
They didn't get 5. That's why.
No, obviously. I mean, and you know what's really upsetting is, I mean, I see an Urn and a set of phase boots that could have been a Midas. I mean, what the hell's going on here? But anyway, the final kill score ends up being 28 to 17 in a game that took 44 minutes and 10 seconds. Team DK takes a 1-game lead over Rising Stars in this best of 3. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, live here in our downtown studio in San Francisco. There's a pop there. It needs to not be there. There we go. Sorry about that, Sesh. Always trying to keep things secret. Anyway, we're down to our potentially the last game of the night, and Defense of the Midas perhaps becoming Defense of the Ancients again, as we see the multi-Midas lineup coming, basically not hitting the stride as it has throughout the rest of the night. But hope you guys will stick around, of course, for our next game. Could end up going to 3. Rising Stars does not want to fall into the same hole that LGD International finds themselves in right now. They want to avoid going 0-3. They got to win 2 games in a row against the DK to do it. Yeah, that's a tall order for every team, let alone a team that's struggling, not just here, but elsewhere. So Rising Stars, all the talent in the world. Let's see if they can put it together and force a game 3, or if DK will simply hang another goose egg on another team and improve their record here in the D2L Season 4 Eastern Division. Again, I'm AC. Me and Merlini back with you in just a few minutes. Stick with me.